Today we're going to talk about the PC306B, operations and functionality of all the switches and controls within the cab. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I've got back into the cab, got the seat belt on. We're going to talk a little bit about the startup using the PC306 cold planer. When you start, get all your safety apparel down, locked in, and we're going to go through some of the advanced machine displays as well as the ignition of starting the machine. So right now we're going to start the machine up. All right, machine started up. On the right hand side of the headliner, 4 switches back, is a continuous flow function. You want to hit that one time when the machine's running and it will activate saying it is ready for continuous flow. To get into continuous flow, which will run the head of your PC306B, you will take the roller switch on your right hand and roll it up. You want to roll that up all the way and hold it for about 3 seconds until the light on the advanced machine display goes from flashing to solid. That will allow the operator to take his thumb off the controller. The next function that you're going to want to use while you're using this PC306B is going to be your creep control function. The creep control function allows the operator to set amount of ground speed by holding the joystick on the left controller that operates the operations straight forward all the way. That way the operator does not have to work about trying to modulate the controller back and forth to get a perfect ground speed for the PC306B. So, I've got my continuous flow switch on, and I am going to activate the creep control by the left-hand joystick, the outside bottom button. You'll hit that one time, and you'll notice on the advanced machine display, a snail comes up, and below the 2 arrows of the soft keys is how you advance the speed up and down when you're operating. When you need to go out of creep control function, you can hit that button one time, return the joystick to 0 or to center, and then you can be out of creep control and be on your normal speeds. We're going to talk now about setting up the PC306B. First off, I'm going to raise it up, releasing your parking brake, and I'm going to go ahead and raise it up a little bit. Now my shoes are set at 0. The PC306B has 2 independent shoes. They're self-leveling. So it does not really matter what position the tool is in when you get ready to make what we call a plunge cut, because the shoes will actually come down, they will self-level and give full contact to the ground. Very important to keep the shoes in full contact with the ground or the asphalt to allow for a good cut. So with the creep control function, that allows you not to overrun the tool while it's in operation. Let's go ahead and set our controls. We need to set a depth of 2 inches. So you have to have your tool engaged on the continuous flow. So that is roller switch all the way up. Light is locked on. You can go ahead and give a little engine throttle. And so in order to adjust the right shoe, independent right shoe, and the independent left shoe, you will go over to button 5, depress it, and on button 3 and 4, you will hit button 4, and that will allow you to adjust the left shoe up to 2 inches. And that's where we stopped it at. If you go to button number 6, which is your left joystick top button on the inside, you depress it, and then button number 4, you hit it, and you'll bring your gauge up to 2. So now I have 2 inches of cut. So my shoes are actually 2 inches above the cutting drum of the planer. The other function that we have is side shift. You use the side shift when you're running the machine close to a curb or a manhole, and you want to move over up to about 22 inches. Button number 3 will allow you to go to the left. Button number 4 will allow the planer head to run all the way over to the outside of the drum. That allows the operator to run the planer close to the curb. So we're going to go ahead and use button number 3. We're going to bring it back into about the center, and we're going to start proceeding. Now there's 2 other functions on here. One would be to rotate the head up to 8 degrees left or right. In order to do that, you would depress the left joystick trigger switch, which is number 7, and on the number 3 and the number 4, you would hit that. If you hit number 3, that rotates it to the left. Number 4 rotates it to the right. You would use that if you were profiling along a road for one application. The other application we can do with this is in float. to put your head into float, on the left side with the operator sitting in the cab, next to the cold planer is a valve, and you would pull that valve out. And what that does, that allows that head to float independently. So if you were running through some undulations and stuff, that will allow the head to follow the contour of the road. So let's get started. We've got our shoes set at a 2-inch cut. I've got line of sight where I'm going. I've got my creep control on. My continuous flow is running. I need to idle the machine up. Slowly, I'm going to lower the tool until I have full contact with the shoes onto the ground. Now I set the controller, or the creep control, on number 4. That allows me, by going to the left joystick, I can run that in full mode. Once I feel the machine lug up, I can, on the fly, I can pull that creep control down. So now we're in motion, and as an operator, I have the head in float, so it's following the contour of the ground, and I've got my joystick all the way out, so I do not have to concentrate on holding that joystick and modulating it back and forth in order to make this cut. Very important not to stall the machine, because if you stall the head, you'll leave a little indentation on the blacktop. So as we move forward with the PC306B, and you have all these controls in motion, you've got your creep control, your continuous flow. I have my self-leveling shoes. They are set to the right depth. All I have to do is steer the machine. I do not have to be cognizant of where my shoes are at, because I know they're finding their own center, nor do I have to worry about where that head's at. It is following the contour of the asphalt. Another operating technique when you're operating this tool is that when you finish running and you've been in high idle and the machine is at warm oil temperatures, when you shut down, you want to go to a low idle, slowly pull the roller switch, which is number 2, and that disconnects the continuous flow, and then let your machine sit in idle for up to 2 to 3 minutes for a cool down. Let the cooling system of the machine, with the hydraulic oil and the water and the antifreeze from the engine, run through there. By doing that, it will bring everything down to a safe ambient temperature for shutdown. As an option for the PC306B is a Max Pro gauge, and the Max Pro gauge would go down on the left side of the tool, and what that does, it allows an operator to view how much pressure he's putting on the tool to gauge where to set your creep control. So now we're getting about to the end of our cut. And with that, I'm going to slowly start to raise the head of the tool up to make a nice smooth contour coming out of the asphalt. Well, we've made that pass. I'm going to idle the machine down. Now that it's idled, I'm going to go ahead and take my right roller switch on my right joystick. I'm going to pull down on that, and that discontinues the continuous flow. I can also take the continuous flow out by hitting the continuous flow switch. But then when I get ready to run again, I would have to reactivate that.